SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Are you a business owner looking for help with HR benefits and payroll? MWG Employer Services offers a wide range of services and can create a custom plan that fits your needs and budget.
I was so overwhelmed with HR stuff. MWG Employer Services took all the stress out of it and even set up my payroll. I couldn't be happier. MWG
Employer Services is here to help you succeed. Call us today at 601-206-7966 or go to MWGEmployerServices.com.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers Super Talk Mississippi. To the junction, in the groove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game. Right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome in on this Friday, Sports Talk Mississippi. Last show before Memorial Day. Little house cleaning, if you will. We will be live on Monday, because that is when we get the baseball bracket. So we are going to be live on Monday. We will know who is heading to Hattiesburg and who is heading to Starkville and where Ole Miss is going, all on Monday. So we are going to do a show on Monday.
Can you imagine on a busy sports day like that not having a live show?
I could not imagine.
Who would do that? Who, I ask you, who?
Not us. We always do that.
We'll be
committed to the audience. But for those of you that are celebrating this weekend, not just because you have a day off, but in remembrance of somebody, just know how thankful and appreciative we are of your loved one, whether it be a grandfather, a dad, a grandmother, a mom, or anywhere in between, a friend, a brother. There are so many people, unfortunately too many people, but so many people that have chosen to fight and defend us to the death, quite literally. And this weekend, just make sure when you're having your cookout and those kind of things that you are doing it in honor of the people that have sacrificed their lives in order to protect ours. So I hope you have a great weekend, but do so thinking about those that have sacrificed for us. I'm Michael Borky. He's Brian Haydad. We've got a lot to get to. We'll talk some baseball. There's more regional projections out there. An ESPN article about the tampering investigation into Ole Miss. Not a whole lot new in it. Haydad, people are like, wow, breaking. The NCAA is investigating Ole Miss. Didn't we already know that?
Well, yeah, we were aware of that.
So, but there are some details in that we will get to as well. It's not new that they've been investigating, but there's a couple of details in there where your ears perk up a little bit. It's like, okay, that's interesting. So we'll get to that. We've got 2 teams to get to on 100 teams in 100 days, all that and more. 3 guests as well on the show today. So we are busy. I will say I am being tested. I'm being tested. In the span of 7 days, my HVAC went out at home. My car broke down, and today I have a roof leak. Within 7 days of each other.
That's tough.
Oh, I mean, I'm going through. I'm being tested. I don't know. I don't know what I've done wrong. I know I've done wrong because I am being tested right now.
Michael Jobkey over here.
My bank account is tested every single day of its life. I mean, I don't have the money to do this, but of course, you know. I will say the people that do that kind of work are the best people in the world, though. The HVAC guy, so it was a very quick, albeit expensive fix. He identified the problem right away. And it took him longer than he said it would. And when he was done, he was like, hey, by the way, I just did this, and this. He's like, I'm not going to charge you. I just saw that needed some maintenance, too. And he's like, I just did that for you because I was down there.
Very nice.
It's like, you're amazing. Same thing with the guys that are going to do my roof. There's obviously some time that it takes to deal with insurance company and stuff like that in order to get this kind of thing fixed and hopefully paid for at least a little bit. They went ahead and started patching and stuff and put a tarp up and all that. Did not charge me a dime. This is a service that they charge people for. He's like, because it's going to rain this weekend and I don't want this to get worse for you, so let me hop up there and I'm just going to do this. Don't tell my boss. And he did that. The people that do that kind of work are the best people in the world, I swear. Just amazing guys that helped me. But
don't be saying it out loud here.
I'm not saying the company. I've protected him because he said don't say my boss.
You got to be careful.
But no, so I'm being tested right now, Hey Dad. So Hey Dad did a lot of work, more work than usual on today's show because he had to cover for me while I had a meltdown and then had to address what was causing the meltdown. It was a hard day in the Borky house, but we got through it, and we're going to have a great show thanks to Brian Hey Dad exclusively.
So what that means is later on, like this evening, you're like, man, Sports Talk was really good today. You'll know why. It's because I set it up.
Pretty much.
So if you want to have a great weekend, set it up at Pearl River Resort. PearlRiverResort.com. You can set up a round of golf at Dancing Rabbit. You can set up a day for the family at Geyser Falls. You can set up live entertainment, one of their great shows they've got to offer. You can set up fantastic meals at Philip M's and Mom and M's. It's all right there for you at Pearl River Resort. C Spire text line open to you, 601-879-4395. Dear C Spire, thanks for the deal. New phone will be here soon. iPhone 17e, I believe, is what I was told. Headed my way.
17e.
E, as in excellent. I got a new phone. And you can get one, too. And right now at C Spire for just $90, you can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data with their Ultimate Connect bundle. That includes the new iPhone 17 or the Samsung Galaxy S26. Don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C Spire store today. C Spire inspired by you. Got a real quick update here. Mississippi State and Oklahoma in the women's softball regional. What a game these two teams are having. State was trailing 6-2, scored 4 runs in the top of the 6th to tie it. Oklahoma gets a 3-run blast from their All-American Kendall Wells in the bottom of the 6th, but now to take a 9-6 lead. But now State has tied the game again. In the top of the 7th, they have the bases loaded with 2 outs, trying to get the lead run across here in the first game of that Super Regional. They have been going back and forth. It's been a tremendous game. And Mississippi State is not normally a team. Normally, I would tell you that if State was in a game where they give up 9 runs, I would tell you they probably lost 9-1. They are not a great hitting team, but they have found the bats today.
That's a tough draw, and hanging tough with Oklahoma is
nothing you can do. Yeah, it just is what it is. But
yeah, they play a different sport than basically everybody else in the sport. Does Oklahoma?
They are kind of right now what a decade ago Alabama was for college football.
Yeah.
What in the 90s.
But they win more than Saban's Alabama.
Yes, they are a more consistent winner at this point. So
crazy stuff there. All right, let's start with this ESPN story about Ole Miss and the tampering situation. This is from David Hale. Hey, David Hale, friend of the program, and Mark Schleybaugh.
We had David on?
We have before.
Okay.
And we've also had Schleybaugh on before.
I wasn't here for Schleybaugh.
No, that was before your time. But either way, they say the NCAA enforcement staff opened. What happened?
State scored. It's 11-9.
Oh,
they got the lead. Are they going to win this game? Oh my gosh! Still got to get out of the inning. So in the bottom of the 7th.
NCAA enforcement staff opened an investigation of the Ole Miss football program the same day Dabo Swinney had that press conference. So that's when it happened. According to documents obtained by ESPN, they did a FOIA request. An NCAA Associate Director of Enforcement emailed Ole Miss Senior Associate AD for Compliance Taylor Hall on January 23rd, a couple hours before Dabo Swinney had that news conference, of course, around linebacker Luke Farrelly. The Associate AD wrote an email to Hall, or the Associate Director wrote an email to Ole Miss saying, "Thanks for speaking with us earlier today. As we discussed, the enforcement staff is opening an investigation into the football program. Additionally, please let this email serve as a reminder that the institution and its representatives have an affirmative and automatic duty under bylaw 19.2 to preserve all relevant materials." In the email, good luck, guys. In the email, the associate director requested that Golding's university-issued phone and personal phones be forensically imaged. The NCAA also requested the same of phones used by Austin Thomas, the GM, Jay Shoup, the inside linebackers coach, outside linebackers coach Matt Kitchens, the director of player personnel, and the senior associate AD for strategy / cap management.
Forensically investigated. Is that what you just said?
Forensically imaged is the word.
Forensically imaged.
The NCAA also asked that Pirelli's phones be forensically imaged and each individual's phone records from December to January 26 be submitted to enforcement staff. Ole Miss declined comment. Now, here's the thing about that. The NCAA can ask for a lot of things. And
they don't find what they're looking for, it'll be a big Ole Miss. Yeah!
Nailed it.
Sorry, I was thinking of a CSI joke the whole time. It's like, what can I come up with?
Unless something has changed, as far as I understand it, the NCAA can ask for a lot of things. That does not mean that you have to give it to them. Now, I believe university-issued devices are within their authority. Mm-hmm. And if Pete Golding or anybody on that staff...
It's a state-issued thing, right? It's issued by the government. Yeah. You can get those things. That's how
Hugh Freeze got exposed.
That's, as we all know, yes, that's what happened to Hugh Freeze, is he wasn't using a private phone.
But he also didn't redact what he should have redacted. And
also
that's
true.
Ridiculous. But if Pete Golding interacted with Luke Ferrelli with his school phone, he deserves the one-game suspension that he's going to get, right? Like that is earned. As I understand it, the NCAA has no authority to get personal devices from anybody.
Right.
They can go and say, hey, Pete Golding, I need your non-university phone all day long, and he can say no.
Right.
They don't have that power.
I've always wondered, though, why they don't kind of go the dictatorship route. Like, it's guilty till proven innocent.
Well, they have before. They did it to
That's what I'm saying.
Moncrief.
If you're not willing to give it to us, we just assume that there's bad stuff on there.
Yeah, then you take that to court and win.
Yeah.
But anyway, more on this. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sports.
On your radio
And in the game.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Good question here on the text line, and you're right. Does the NCAA not have the authority to suspend the player if he doesn't comply? So their lack of subpoena power applies to third parties.
Right.
A car dealership, a booster, whatever. They, in theory, could. What has caused the NCAA to not have any real authority and stuff like this is because, just play this out for a second. Let's pretend like the NCAA says, Luke Ferrelli, I want your phone records. And he says, no, I'm not giving you my personal cell phone. You're not the FBI. You cannot. I'm not letting you read my text messages. I'm an adult man, a free American. You have no authority to get those from me.
I'm a man. I'm 20.
And the NCAA says, okay, well, you can't play football. Thus, by the way, he's a professional now, remember. You can't play football, and you can't play. And his income is tied to him playing.
Right.
Take it to court, and the NCAA loses. Because you in effect can't do that. They would lose. And I'm not talking about Mississippi court. They would lose in any court.
That is one of the things where the NCAA, I don't know how they figure that out, but there's got to be like, I guess maybe it's like we're a business. You have to do the employee thing. We're like, these are our rules. And, think about it like this. If our boss came to us and said, we believe, I don't know if our boss could get, I don't know if they could get our phone. They couldn't make us give up our personal phone. Now, if they pay for the phone, that's one thing. But,
that's right. But they could get our emails.
Yeah, but if we said, no, we're not going to turn over our phone to you, and they suspended us, we really wouldn't have much recourse.
But we could take it to court and say
we could. But my guess is we might lose. But in the NCAA world, for whatever reason, because we're not, there's no employee-employer relationship. If our boss believed that we were using our phones to undermine our business in some way, we were doing that we were doing something that not only was, I don't know if illegal is the right word, but it could harm SuperTalk. I feel like they would be. I could be wrong. I'm certainly not a lawyer. I don't play one on television. But I would think even if they couldn't legally force us to give up our phones, they could legally suspend us for, whatever reason. That's the other thing. Like, Mississippi is this gets misused a lot, but Mississippi is a right-to-work state.
Yeah, right to work means that they have a right to let you not work.
Yeah. That's one thing I used to have people get, you can't just fire people in Mississippi. You can just fire whoever you want in Mississippi. Now, you do have to document stuff. You can't just, hey, you're fired. They will file for unemployment and win. But if you document things properly, and in this case it would be like we had this evidence and this evidence.
Yeah, Robert says you still have due process rights regardless of the outcome.
Okay.
That's way beyond my area of expertise. But yes, it was reported a long time ago that, and they do that all the time, they hold eligibility over players' heads until you prove that the thing that you have is actually yours, which they don't really have the authority to do that.
So,
but
I got to tell you this, Borky. Keep it up with the softball game. It's now 11-9, 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Oklahoma has got a walk and a single, so they have the winning run at the plate. It's Kendall Wells. I didn't realize, I guess, just 39 home runs on the year. I guess her run would be insignificant at that point if you want, but there's no way I'm pitching to her. I'm just like, get on. No chance I'm pitching to that girl. You can't do it.
I have not seen this adequately answered either. When is a player no longer in the transfer portal? Because when you enter, when does your name get removed?
I guess it's probably the same kind of process. Like, you go to whoever and say, hey, I'd like to enter the portal. You fill it, you do whatever you got to do. My guess is you go to that same person.
What if Ferrelli was still technically in the portal?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. But when does your name get taken out of it? I have no idea. But I have not seen anybody actually pose that question and provide an answer. I don't know. I still think that this ends in the same way that I've always thought. They'll negotiate a 1-game suspension because that is what
he's not gonna coach against Charlotte. You can just feel it in the air.
Or the season opener next year because these things take time. Obviously,
could be that. Yeah. I don't know. Do you know who Ole Miss opens the season with next year? Is it a real game?
We can look.
They're really going to pitch into that girl. Wow. Okay.
Better work.
Is that a real game?
Charlotte.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, how are they?
It can't be right.
2027, Ole Miss football, Charlotte, Hemingway State. That doesn't make sense because they're supposed to go to Charlotte.
Maybe that got bought out?
It could have, but yeah, that is what is presently on the schedule is Charlotte in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium.
Is that Ole Miss only has 2 games on there too for non-conference? Is that
Charlotte and Oregon State? Is
it possible that first off, Ole Miss has got to find a power game, right? They're not going to let them count Oregon State, are they? We're on a whole different track of topic here, but
maybe, they would have to add a
Is
power
it possible
game.
that September 4th is not the first weekend of the season next year? Oh my God, they got her to foul out. 2 outs.
Wow. Oh, so this is it, right?
That is some cojones by Samantha Ricketts and staff. Wow. Yeah, 2 outs, 2 down, State up 2, but the winning run is at the plate, and this girl, Garcia, has 22 home runs. So it's not like you just, you walked Barry Bonds to get to me on this one.
Yeah. John says no penalty for Kiffin.
Golding not coaching September 19th. NCAA lawyer Jane Kiffin makes the date.
Lane Kiffin did not have a coach hold a press conference to publicly lay out tampering against him. Until that day comes, he's going to get away with what he did. It's just how it's just how it is. No other coach in college football has ever done what Dabo did. And so that's why you're quote-unquote being singled out. Because hey, Dad, as you can imagine, some people, Ole Miss fans, are, well, the NCAA is singling us out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And my counter to that is, no, Dabo singled you out. They can't ignore a coach with, even if this ultimately becomes nothing, even if he can't prove anything. Because, again, all Dabo had was, this is what I was shown. He said, all you have to do is go get his phone.
State wins.
Wow, that's huge.
That is a huge win. State's a 1 win away from the Women's College World Series, first time ever. Wow.
And it's not even necessarily about going to the Women's College World Series. It's the fact that it's Oklahoma. You know what I mean? That's different. If they're playing Wichita State or whatever, it would still be cool. But the fact that it's Oklahoma that you're 1 win away against is nuts. Them not making the College World Series would be a massive upset.
Yeah.
With how that program is. They have it in Oklahoma City for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's like they have the SEC women's basketball tournament in Greenville, South Carolina for a reason. Because that's the fan base that will actually show up to the games and sell the arena out. But anyway. What was I saying before that?
You were admitting that Ole Miss did, in fact, blatantly cheat and should be...
No.
I
don't
know. What were you saying?
The singling out thing. No, Dabo, even if he has nothing and he just has conjecture, he still laid out an allegation and put it on Front Street. Well, why don't they go after Kiffin? Because nobody's done that to him yet. And yeah, he tampered like hell with everybody. Washington's quarterback. Forget what he did with the Ole Miss players. Washington's quarterback. But Jed Fish didn't sit behind a podium and on this date, Lane Kiffin did this. On this date, Charlie Weiss Jr. did this. That hasn't happened to anybody other than to Pete Golding. That's why this is a thing. I just don't foresee it being a significant thing. There's no precedent that tells you that it's going to be anything other than a light suspension. Maybe the two sides will come sit at the table and do what Michigan did. We're going to pick and choose what day our coach.
And that's the precedent that's been set now. Is you can suspend them for whatever you want. It'd be interesting if you got somehow like a coach was suspended for a season and they just we'll suspend him a game a year for the next 12 years, and if he gets fired, well, you can leave that to the next guy.
Robert and Jackson, I thought they'd start with Louisville this year. They do, but what we're saying is because Michigan established this precedent and the NCAA went along with it, you can pick when your coach serves the suspensions. So Kirk Ferentz got suspended 1 game. He missed the Illinois State game in 2024, right? Wasn't that the season? Where he missed the Illinois State game, and that was it for tampering with Cade McNamara. That was worth the headache.
Yeah.
At least Luke Ferrelli's a pretty good player. So, yeah, not much new there other than they're trying to get personal records, which, again, good luck. Knowing how these usually operate, whatever phone was used to contact Luke Ferrelli is in the bottom of Lake Sardis and has been for months.
I'm fascinated by forensic imaging. Like, what does that mean? Are they going to try to find deleted tweets or deleted text? Is that basically what that means?
I guess.
If you're a officer of the law and you know what forensic imaging is, let us know on the C Spire text line 601-879-4395.
But again, that phone should be in the bottom of Lake Sardis.
It should absolutely be.
Frozen at the bottom of the lake when they had that freeze, that's when the phone was thrown in there. That's how these things are supposed to operate.
That's
anyway.
Exactly correct.
Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
From the Sea Room.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
You know I love sports.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Brian Haydad and Michael Borky are based on the list of plagues he listed earlier. Michael Jobkey here with you, or just Job Borky. I don't know. We'll just figure that out. We are working right now, or as Borky likes to say, efforting to go to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go to the home team. We're supposed to be joined by my handsome young son, Ben Portnoy. Boy, will he hear from me if he ditches us. I thought, Borky was having a bad day. I wanted to give him a gift. I was like, here's a segment, Borky, where you can talk about all that stuff that you like, that I don't like. But we'll see what happens there. So much going on with the college football playoff, with the decisions that are being made within the government to try to fix, and I use the quotation fingers as I say this, fix college athletics. So Ben, of course, with Sports Business Journal, he can certainly provide us some access to that. I'll go ahead and do this right now while we wait on Ben. Normally we do it at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, but we do need to tell you because there's a lot happening on Sports Talk Mississippi today. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi, which is, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Ag Up. Been a rainy week here in the state of Mississippi. Your grass is growing. That means you need to get out there and mow it. And the best way to do that is with a John Deere mower from our friends over at Ag Up. And if you are looking for a great deal on a tractor, they've got them at Ag Up. 0% financing for up to 84 months. An additional $500 off on some select models. Plus, just come by and get a quote on any John Deere 1 through 5 series truck or tractor, and you can find you'll be entered into a deal for to win a John Deere generator and pressure washer. That package worth over $1,500. 15 locations throughout the state. You'll find one near you, or go to agup.com. What's up with Sports Talk Mississippi? Hopefully Ben Portnoy. If not, we'll see what happens. And then in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll be joined by Brad Henderson from the Ole Miss Baseball Network.
He's good now. I had to reset the phones. It was not his fault. It was not Ben's fault. It wouldn't dial out for me.
I knew that my handsome young son would never leave me hanging. Ben Portnoy joins us now from the Sports Business Journal. Son, how are you today?
What's up, guys? Appreciate you having me.
So Borky was having a bad day, Ben. He's had some home issues with house repair and stuff. And I was like, here, I'm going to give him a gift. I'll let him talk about all this stuff that he loves to talk about that I can't stand. So, Michael, just have at it here. Go right ahead.
All right. So something that you've been covering that fascinates the heck out of me is, of course, the effort to go to 24 teams and specifically the money. Because in order to have a 24-team playoff, you got to get rid of the conference championships. But the conference championships make a lot of money. In your opinion, is there enough money to be made expanding the playoff to offset what they will lose getting rid of the conference championship games?
So this is kind of the magic question right now, and I don't know the answer, but I will say this. I think in my conversations with people who are a little more informed on this than I am, I would say that people are skeptical. I think that there's a couple of things, right? Like I think that, the basic way to think about this for a lot of folks and to break it down is that there's effectively if you go to 24 teams, you're probably getting rid of the 4 conference title games. Those conference championship games account for, I should say, roughly, call it $200 million, to use a round number. If you expand the playoff and get rid of those, at a very base level, you're needing to recoup that money. And realistically, on top of that, I've used the number around $400 million of sum as sort of a guesstimate to what those games could be worth as a package, essentially. I've been told that number might be optimistic. So if you're accounting for that, you're basically saying that, like, best case scenario maybe, let's say the college football playoff can get an extra $400 million for these games that they would add by going to 24 teams. You're really actually only making about $200 million because you got to deal with the conference title game part of it. And then when you actually parse that out across all the 4 Power 4 leagues, Notre Dame, the other conferences, et cetera, it's not really that much new money coming into the system. So for all the talk about access and this and that and, more teams being involved in all of that, like, at the end of the day, I'm really not sure that there's enough money from the TV networks to make this thing worth it. On top of the fact that you then devalue, in theory, potentially the actual regular season as well. So it's a really, really interesting sort of push-pull right now for a lot of folks in the SEC and elsewhere.
You mentioned the SEC. They are the only conference now that is on record opposed to the 2014 playoff. Is this whole discourse in part to try to stick it to the SEC? Is that what all these other conferences are doing?
I don't think it's necessarily that. I mean, I think that, look, like every conference has their talking points, right? Look, I think if you look at it from the Big Ten's perspective, the Big Ten, I think you can equate with Fox a little bit, right? Fox currently does not have any of the college football playoff games. If there were to be new games in the market for networks to bid on, Fox would realistically be a pretty likely partner. This would help them. It would help them, their games in the regular season that they own in the Big Ten count for more, things like that. That's part of the rationale there. I think if you're the Big 12 and the ACC, I think you see this as a way to get more of your teams in. I think that, at a very base level, that's the motivations there. So I don't know that it's necessarily like to stick it to the SEC. I think that college sports are so self-interested these days that it's hard for anything to be, beyond, 2 feet in front of people. But I think that I do think there is a lot of, like anything in college sports these days, kind of like what I was saying, right? Like there's so much self-interest that, there's a lot of reasons that every league is kind of thinking about this.
These very broke, in desperate need of money athletic departments will descend on their private jets to a luxury resort in Florida next week to discuss how little money they have. And part of those conversations, though, will be, we can't let this go on anymore. Congress is not going to help us. We need to govern ourselves. How real is the we need to break away from the NCAA, at least in football and men's basketball discussion? How real is that?
I would say, in my reporting, and others have reported similar things, like, I think this is a pretty real conversation. Now, and I say that as far, and look, I use the word real as a little subjective, but like, it is more realistic now than I think I felt that it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 months ago. What that actually means, what that entails, what it would, do, all of those things, I'm not 100% sure. I think that, like, the actual machinations of a breakaway are far more complicated than just being like, hey, cool, SEC, we're just going to go do our own thing. Like, it is way more complicated than that. And I think that, this is going to be a top-line talking point in Destin next week. I think that there's a lot of frustration with the way the system has been set up and has played out. Now, I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy in that as well, given that a lot of the schools complaining about the system are also the ones that are actively breaking it. So there's also that part of it. But I do think that it's going to be a top-line talking point next week among ADs and among presidents and more. That
both encourages me and scares me. Because Congress is not going to help. As you've reported on, they're not going to. That's clearly off the table. And the status quo is not good enough either. But these are also the people that float the idea of an SEC-only national championship. And these are the people that want the 2014 playoff. And like they've also kind of destroyed everything, too. But they're the only ones that also have the power to fix everything. It's good and bad at the same time. I don't know how to feel.
No, I mean, I think it's complicated, right? Like, is an SEC-only national title championship, like, really worth it? I don't know. Like, look, like, are people going to recognize that? Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of schools that claim national championships that probably, shouldn't claim them or whatever. But, like, so maybe we're getting back to our roots in college football here if we go this way. But I do think, like, there is something to be said about you're right. Like, I think it's a really complicated feeling because I think there's a lot of people that look at this and say, hey, the 12-team playoff is going great. We're really big fans of it. The viewership's been great. It's been really fun. We've had some, different winners. All of these things. Like, there's some really good things, but, like, are people really going to still watch if, the SEC just goes off and does its own thing or the Big Ten goes off and does its own thing? Like, I don't know. I think I'm a little more skeptical of that, but I do think that even if that happens, it's a means to an end. I don't think it's a forever thing. I think it's until whatever the Super League looks like and we get to that point of talking about those things in more tangible terms, like, I think it's an intermediary step, if nothing else.
Well, Ben, as you can probably guess, Borky has all of the best questions. I only have one for you. Do you know who votes for the C Spire Trophy?
I'm not authorized to disclose that.
Oh, man, appreciate you coming on with us, Ben. Thanks so much, man. We always love talking to you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Always fun.
All right. Ben Portnoy, Sports Business Journal. He joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the Hokies.
That was screwed up. I wanted to ask him about Brian Rollap's plan for 2028, but we didn't get there.
That was my gift to you. When you said you were having a bad day, I was like, dude, I'll let Borky have an interview where he can just get all of that frustration out there. So I guess the question I have is this. College football is a sport of the fans, by the fans, for the fans, right? Is it possible that a grassroots movement can take hold and get this sport under control? Not in terms of NIL, the transfer portal, that's out of our hands. But in terms of a playoff, if there's a way to, make that happen, I'd like to see that be the case. All right. When we come back, some unbelievable stats coming out of this Mississippi State softball game. I want to talk about that. We'll do that when we come back. Just a minute. Sports Talk Mississippi, wrapping up the week with you here on a Friday.
Let's go. This is your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State. Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Yeah, let's put into context more of what happened today, because I think that if you don't follow college softball, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm a big follower of college softball either, Oklahoma, calling them a Goliath is not even an accurate description of what Oklahoma softball is.
A true dynasty in every sense of the word. So Mississippi State was trailing Oklahoma 6-2 in the top of the sixth inning, came back to tie the game at 6. In the bottom of the sixth, Oklahoma hits a 3-run home run to take a 9-6 lead. In the top of the seventh, State scores 5 runs to grab an 11-9 lead. And then goes into the bottom of the seventh. Oklahoma gets 2 runners on. They have the winning run at the base in the form of their 2 All-Americans who have a combined 61 home runs between them. And State gets a pop-out and a strikeout to end the game and take Game 1 of the Super Regional. So here's the stats, courtesy of Robbie Falk, who's, of course, no longer with us. Oklahoma.
He's alive.
He's no longer with us.
He's alive.
Oklahoma had won 18 straight Super Regional games dating back to 2016. They had won 32 straight NCAA tournament games at home. And this is the one that got me. Since 2000, Oklahoma softball was 77-0 when leading by 4+ runs in a regional or Super Regional, which means that 77 games in postseason play, they had a 4-run lead at some point. That in and of itself is a crazy stat. They're now 71-1. Mississippi State comes from behind after trailing 6-2 to win the game 11-9. If the Bulldogs win tomorrow, they will go to the Women's College World Series for the first time in program history.
That's wild. Yeah, Patty Gasso has been the head coach at Oklahoma since 1995.
Her numbers are stupid. Just go ahead.
Going to start in 2010. This is their result since 2010. They went to the Super Regional in 2010. Made the College World Series. Finished runner-up in the College World Series. Won the College World Series. Made the College World Series. Went to the Super Regional. Won the College World Series. Won the College World Series. Went to the College World Series. Runner-up in the College World Series. Won 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 the College World Series. Went to the College World Series.
Yeah, they're pretty good. So
that is unfathomable.
State's got a tough, honestly, Borky, if we're being serious, like, when you win a game like that, I won't be surprised if tomorrow they get beat pretty badly, just because the emotion of it will be so tough to come back from. They got it, but, they've got to do that.
And who it is, too. Oklahoma's just so...
At the same time, think about the way they played in the regional. They're playing the number 1 seeded Oregon team, the top seed in the regional, and they throw a no-hitter. And, you would think, okay, that's great. Still got to win one more game. Won't be surprised to see it go an extra game just because the emotion of that. Instead, State just handled its business and got out of that regional in 3 games. So we'll see what happens. This team seems to have some mental toughness. And, we talked to Coach Ricketts. You would have heard that interview on Thunder and Lightning Live on Wednesday night. And it's also on the Thunder and Lightning podcast feed. I did tell her when we went off, when we got done recording, I said, all right, Coach, if you advance, you got to come back. And she said, sure. So maybe talking to Coach Ricketts again if she can get one more win.
That would be really really special. So good stuff there. And the Women's College World Series gets watched more than the Men's College World Series.
Yeah.
If you're the type of person that cares about exposure,
yes,
there's
plenty of it to be had in the Women's College World Series for sure.
There most certainly is. I feel bad, like I'm kind of picking on an individual player.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how sometimes when a player enters the transfer portal and they'll do breaking this player and it's like he's played one game in 4 years. I'm not even going to say the player's name because it's not his fault.
Mm-hmm.
But On3 did it today with a baseball transfer.
Baseball? Oh, God.
He's a right-handed pitcher. He went 2-6 this season at in the American Conference. Went 2-6 with an 8.56 ERA. And they also tagged his agent. Like, here are his stats, and he's repped by this agent. Guys, number one, why does a guy that's 2-6 with an 8 ERA at a low level of college baseball have an agent anyway?
Well, that's a waste of money.
Hopefully he's getting paid like in vibes and like a handshake. But also, hey, on three, guys, I know you got to use some discretion here, okay? We don't need to know that.
I've had to unfollow their transfer portal stuff just because it's so relentless. It's like everybody that goes in gets a breaking, and it's like you'll look them up and you're like, averaged 1.2 points per game, or played in 2 games, had 1 tackle. Like, guys, can't we just have some common sense about it, you know? And, of course, yes, you said, repped by super bad sports, you know, or whatever. It's like, what are we doing here?
When we come back after the news, Brad Henderson will join us.
I didn't mention, I didn't get through it because we were talking to Ben there, but Brad Henderson joins us in the next segment, and then at 4:37, Jay Powell will join us. So we'll talk to Brad Henderson about Ole Miss, and we'll talk to Jay Powell about Mississippi State a little later. That is What's Up on SportsTalk Mississippi, brought to you by Ag Up.
We'll be back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on SuperTalk.fm, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and always live on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station.
Hour number 2, Sports Talk Mississippi. We go to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. You know him, Brad Henderson, all-time hits leader at Ole Miss, and on the radio broadcast alongside David Kellum for the Ole Miss Radio Network, and he's on your radio right now. And I hate to do it, start this way, Brad, but let's rewind to Tuesday, where Ole Miss took on Missouri on Tuesday morning and could not get it done. This is a bit of an elementary question, but what the heck happened there?
Well, they just played better than we did. To be honest with you, obviously they got the huge grand slam was big for them, and you know I like the way we answered. You know, we when they put up a 5 spot, we came back and answered with 4, and then ultimately, you know, Hayden had a huge home run to tie it up 8-8. But you know, we just couldn't keep them from scoring, and you got to give Missouri a lot of credit. I think they came in ready to play and had a plan, and you know, we fell 2 runs short.
And now there's a long rest. Hunter Elliott did not get to pitch. Rabe did not get to pitch this week. Not saying that the decision to start Libbert was the wrong one. In fact, he pitched well in that game. But what does that extended rest do to the regular starters for this Ole Miss team ahead of the regionals next weekend?
I mean, I guess we'll find out next weekend ultimately if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing. You know, it gives you, like you said, the extra rest. You kind of get to get your feet back under you, rest your legs. Obviously, that's so important to a pitcher. But yeah, we'll see. You know, if those guys come out and are sharp in the regional, then it was well worth it. If they don't, you could probably always look back and say coulda, woulda, shoulda. But ultimately, I think it's a good thing that those guys get a few extra days off. Of course, they'll get their bullpen work in, but everything will be a little bit lighter, and obviously the pressure won't be there. So, you know, we went through that stretch last year, and people said the opposite, right? Because we got to the championship game in the SEC tournament and then couldn't get out of our regional. And we played a lot of games in that 7 or 8 day stretch and didn't get it done. And a lot of people thought, well, man, if we'd have only won 1 or 2 in the tournament and we could have got some rest and maybe played a little bit better in the regional. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think anytime you can get a little extra rest, it's probably a bonus.
Yeah, and what is the balance on that? Because that's such a thing that gets talked about every year, and understandably so, of does getting to Sunday actively harm you for the next weekend? And I mean, we've seen coaches have their starters on pitch counts in Hoover, or not pitch certain guys at all. There was always the talking point back in the Ray Tanner days that he went to Hoover hoping to lose so he could get back to Columbia as fast as possible. What does Hoover actually do if you make that deep run to the regionals, or is that just kind of stuff that guys like us talk about?
I think it's probably stuff that guys like all of us talk about, right? Because we analyze everything, and that's just kind of what we do. But as far as the players go, I think it's on a player-by-player basis. For a pitcher, I think if he just needs to get some light work in, you put him on a pitch count, you run him out there. But for a hitter, you may have a guy. Let's take Austin Foley, for example. I mean, that guy doesn't want to be sitting at home right now because the thing looks like a beach ball, right? And so I think you can get some guys who may be going through some skids to get on a hot streak, and then it carries over through the rest of the postseason. So I think it's more of an individual type thing. I think if Hunter would have started had we won against Mississippi State, I don't know that you run him out there for 100, 110 pitches. I think you back it off, because obviously the important games are, start, with the regionals next weekend.
And speaking of that, so the rotation flipped sort of. I guess that was mostly a rest-related thing in the Alabama series. But Ole Miss going to be a 2 seed somewhere. One projection has West Virginia. One projection has Kansas. Regardless of the decision last year and it ultimately not working out, don't you just go your regular rotation in the regional regardless of opponent because of how equal in ability your 3 starters are?
Yeah. Obviously, I think with us being a 2 seed, going to face the 3 seed, Hunter definitely gets the ball at game 1. Now, next thing is, your next question is, who throws game 2? And that's a question somebody at Swayze Field can probably only answer right now if they hadn't already said it. I've been at my real job since I've gotten back from Hoover Tuesday night, and I have not heard an update. Have y'all heard an update?
I have not.
Okay, I wouldn't think so, but that's my thing. I mean, it's going to be the question, like just a hypothetical. If Hunter doesn't throw well game 1 and you don't win that one. Do you throw Rabe or do you throw Townsend? And then, who do you have in your back pocket if you don't make it to game 3 to say, boy, I can't believe so-and-so didn't pitch in game 2? I don't have the answer because both of them are so good. So it'll be curious to see how it plays out. But I think 100% you'll see Hunter Elliott throw game 1.
We've gotten a few messages along this line today, and you certainly can't really make any changes this late in the season, but Ole Miss, as you know, almost 600 strikeouts at the plate this season. Why do they strike out so much? Is it a product of players or approach, or what is leading to them having such consistently high strikeout numbers? Even on days when the offense produces, like on Tuesday, they still struck out 14 times.
Yeah, that's a good question, and obviously that's one they would be better off to answer, but my guess is the analytics say with 2 strikes, you still got a better chance to score more runs or win more games with the 3-run homer. And so I think that's kind of what we play for. That's been our MO for a while. That was our MO when we won the national championship. But I think we are kind of a little top heavy on some guys that swing and miss more than others. And obviously you can look up and down the lineup, you know who those guys are, but they're also the guys that are, 2 of them have hit 20 home runs this year and the other one's on fire and at 12 now, when he had 4 for forever, and he's on a hot streak as well. But yeah, it is interesting, Borky, because, it wasn't how I grew up, but the game obviously has changed and evolved. And, I think that's a lot of it, though. You got so many power guys. We had 100 home runs for a second time, back-to-back. First time in school history it's been done back-to-back. So basically at the end of the day, you got to take the good with the bad, and I get it, because when the bad is bad, the optics are bad, right? And but when you're hitting the ball out of the ballpark, you're winning games. The optics are good. So again, I don't have the answer for why the total number, but I just think the approach and the analytics say you take the good with the bad, and you still play for the gap balls and the home run balls when the opportunities are there.
It seems like there's a really small handful of places where they could get sent. I mean, just because the regionals are filled with SEC teams, and where Ole Miss will be seated somewhere between 17 and 19, only a small handful of places they can go. They could go to Oregon, Kansas, West Virginia, maybe Nebraska. Do you have any thoughts on which place? They're all good. They're hosting for a reason, but any place that you would like to see them get sent to?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to go up to the Pacific Northwest. Well, this is just me being greedy, right, as a radio announcer. I want to go somewhere that the baseball's good, the fans are good, and the environment is what you want in a regional. I know they probably don't want to travel that far, but me just being greedy and selfish, I want to go somewhere where the environment's good. But I played some pro ball up there, and it's beautiful this time of year, and I just think it'd be a fun place to go. But it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Those guys are ready to keep playing. And I'll be honest with you, man, with the rotation we talked about, there's not a lot of regionals out there that want to see Ole Miss as a 2 seed.
No, most certainly not. Especially if you've got Rabe, for example. I mean, how many West Virginia, Kansas, Oregon? How many Game 2 pitchers have they seen that have the kind of stuff that he or Calhoun will throw at them? I can't imagine that's a really big number.
That's the scary thing. Even if they hold their 1, and they throw their 2 in Game 1 and hold their 8 for us, they're going to face Townsend or Rabe, and that's we're really 1A, 1B, 1C, and I mean that. And so I would feel good at going into it, knowing Rabe or Townsend's going to face somebody else's 1 or 2. Those guys are unique, and to say interchangeable is probably not the right word, but you certainly feel confident anytime one of those 3 guys take them out.
We really appreciate your time, as always. Thank you, especially on a Friday afternoon, for making the time for us. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, man. Appreciate it.
That's Brad Henderson on the Farm Bureau guest line, the all-time hits leader at Ole Miss. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. We'll talk some more baseball, and then we'll talk to Jay Powell here in about 20 minutes from right now as well. We'll be back in just a bit.
Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
You can be a part of Sports Talk Mississippi. 888-808-8637 on Super Talk Mississippi.
I long for the days Wisconsin can be back.
We'll get them
playing
back.
Good football.
They'll be back at some point.
That atmosphere is too good for that.
Yeah.
I want to go to Madison one day. I've just heard incredible things about Madison, Wisconsin as a college town. Obviously it gets cold, but apparently it's just a great trip. Yeah. Speaking of trips, somebody on the text line wants the NCAA selection committee to send Ole Miss to Starkville. They can't.
Literally cannot do that.
You cannot have 2 seeds in the same regional from the same conference. So they could, in theory, get there in a super, but Ole Miss and State are very, very, very likely to be on the same side of the bracket.
Yeah, if Ole Miss and State are going to play again, it would have to be in Omaha.
Gosh, wouldn't that be great?
It would be something.
You may be wondering, why have you guys mentioned Southern Miss yet? I thought they were going to play at 11. Nope. The weather has chosen otherwise in Montgomery. It's gotten so bad that the Louisiana Coastal game that is also supposed to be played today, those two teams have gotten on a bus and they have driven to Troy.
Just trying to do something, huh?
So they can get the games in.
It's crazy.
An hour away.
Every year, we could be in the middle of a Saharan drought. And conference championship week rolls around, here they come. You start seeing animals lining up 2 by 2 at the Hoover Met. So
they have literally bust an hour away from the site to just try to get the games in at this point. So we'll see. What's your guys' opinion? Does Southern Miss get a top 8? Yeah, some random guy was going after Kendall Rogers for saying that Florida could get in the top 8, and the guy was like, "You're just an SEC shill talking like this." And Kendall's like, "Wait, what do you mean?" Anyway, it was bizarre. Southern Miss is in that discussion. Barely on the outside of a top 8. Could the conference tournament be enough to sway them into a top 8? I don't think it will be enough, personally, especially if Florida keeps on winning, because you run into the same problem. But Florida's winning more difficult games in the SEC tournament than the Sun Belt tournament. Just metrically, that's how that works. If Florida keeps winning, there's a chance that they might be able to make that jump. I don't know if Southern Miss is going to. But they're very close. They are certainly very close. Speaking of those regional projections, D1 has Ole Miss going to Lawrence, to the Kansas regional opposite Georgia Tech, with Louisiana as the 3 and SIU Edwardsville. Kansas, the 15 seed, Mississippi State, the 14 seed. No change from yesterday. Coastal Carolina, the 2. Oh, excuse me, I said no change. There is one. Coastal Carolina, the 2. Instead of Michigan, it's St. John's, the 3.
Yeah.
And Lamar, the 4. That's opposite Georgia and Virginia.
Yeah. They're trying everything they can to make that happen. I think if you're State and seeing Lamar as the 4 seed allows you the opportunity, I think, to possibly tinker with your rotation to set up a game 2, game 3 Valinkas McPherson situation. Whereas with St. John's, I've heard St. John's has got some talent. I would be a little more worried. We'll talk to Jay Powell about that a little later.
The Baseball America bracket has Ole Miss going to Morgantown, West Virginia. West Virginia opposite UCLA. So if you win that, you got to go play the number 1 team in the country. UTSA and South Dakota State also in that regional. They have Mississippi State, the 14, opposite Georgia, with Cincinnati, Boston College, and Lamar. So some differences there, but a similar spot.
I said, it's just going to be, for State, it's just going to be about the matchup. I don't think there's a way they can avoid those teams they really would rather not play. The teams that, those 3 teams are Georgia, Auburn, Texas. 3 teams that you are 2 and, do the math real quick, 2 and 7 against. That's just where State's likely going to be headed. So we'll see what their regional looks like. I like State's chances to get out of their regional, but in a super regional format, I just don't see them beating any of those 3 teams.
Southern Miss projected to be the 11 seed by Baseball America with Wake Forest, Kentucky, and Samford in their regional. So you're going to get an SEC team.
An SEC team one way or the other.
It's going to happen. And D1 has them the 10 seed. No change from yesterday. Tennessee, TCU, and Illinois, Chicago.
All right.
Going to get an SEC team.
Yeah, they're going to get one way or the other. It's just Christian Ostrander told us. He's never wrong on those situations. I mean, I guess we'd have to look, but has Southern Miss ever hosted a regional and not had an SEC team in there with them? I can't imagine they have.
Probably been quite some time.
Yeah.
Baseburg will be ready, though. That's what they call
100%,
it. Baseburg. Yeah. I like that. You can't do a baseball pun with Starkville or Oxford, I don't think. Can you?
No, I mean, Starkville is just Stark Vegas, and Oxford, they call it the Velvet Ditch now, don't they?
I guess, yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
but, like baseball specific, Baseburg fits beautifully.
It fits, yeah.
But you can't. Can you do a baseball thing with Starkville?
No, you can't.
Like Ballville, no.
Pause.
Strikeville, no.
No, none of those are. Those are all terrible.
It's awful. You can't do it.
Just stick with Starkville
Or Stark Vegas?
Stark Vegas, yeah.
All the casinos there.
Yes, as Kenny Dillingham told us about.
Talk about an all-time backfire. That's the funniest part about that is whining about hotels, and then Sam Levitt throws for 88 yards.
Yeah, it was really bad.
If Sam Levitt would have been able to stay in town, hey, Dad, he would have thrown for 388 yards. But since they had to stay in Tupelo, he only threw for 88 yards and a couple of interceptions and was completely terrified of every snap he took.
I don't necessarily believe him, I'll be honest with you on that one.
There's been very few times in college football where a quarterback, you can see he is scared. Mm-hmm. Sam Levitt was scared in Starkville that day.
Yeah. He was rattled. The
completely rattled.
Between the crowd and the cowbells. And look, first half of that game, State was really good defensively. They were getting after him, too. So
yeah, they were.
State played its part in it as well. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm just not that high on Sam Levitt, which is when
some joker at On3 had Sam Levitt ranked as the number 8 college football player, not quarterback, college football player in the country.
Silly. It's just silly. You're just
he's not the number 8 player on his own team.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I bet you can find 7 better all-around football players on that team.
That's a tough one there. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, there's a defensive end and an offensive tackle that are better than him.
I mean, I agree with that.
There's a wide receiver, that is.
Yeah. I don't know. 8's getting down there. If your quarterback is your 8th best player, you're not winning very many football games.
Dad, you watched him in person.
I agree with that.
You
but
watched
again,
him.
I would just say if you pick a team, you tell me if they have 8 players better than their quarterback, that better be a really good football team. That better have elite talent.
55,000 people had him
going,
needing a change of pants.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Jeez, he is very talented, but not the number 8 player in the country.
No, absolutely.
They had him ranked ahead of Arch Manning.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't.
You give any coach in America.
Was Chambliss ahead of him?
No, Chambliss was 43rd.
Oh, I saw this list the other day. Okay.
Yeah.
That's...
Forget, to remove the illusion of bias, take Trinidad out of this. Give any coach in America, you can have Sam Levitt or Arch Manning. Does a single one of them...
Even his own coach would trade. Kiffin would be like, yeah.
Immediately.
Get him gone. Yeah.
Although the Mannings would never let...
Yeah, but we're talking about hypotheticals here. So.
Yes. Not a single one. Even if Sam Levitt's dad was a college football coach, he'd do what Ryan Day did. It's like, hey, buddy, you're good, but not good enough. Go play at Northwestern.
Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty, tough conversation, but imagine being Ryan Day's son, and you're getting Big Ten offers, and your dad's not one of them. Sit at the dinner table. Hey, Dad, I got an offer. Coach Fitzgerald called me today. I got an offer from Michigan State.
Sounds great, son.
Yeah. I'd love to play for you, though, Dad.
I'm sure you will. Well, you can. You absolutely can. Got to walk on.
Hey, honey, how was your day? Just completely deflect away from it.
Yeah.
He just does the Dave Chappelle thing and hits the water jug and runs away.
Run!
Hey, Dad, when am I going to get an offer?
Just smacks it. I gotta take this. It's Bob Rinderman about something important. So, all right. When we come back, we'll be back on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. We talked about Ole Miss. We'll talk about Mississippi State when we come back. Jay Powell, former Diamond Dog, former Major Leaguer, and currently the color commentator for the Mississippi State Baseball Network. We'll get his thoughts on this team and their chances and what it's going to look like next week when we are expecting to see the Starkville Regional in full swing around this time next week. We'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi with you on a Friday.
From the Seabrook.com.
Sports Talk Mississippi. On Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Back to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. Jay Powell joins us as he has done many times this baseball season. And Jay, SEC tournament comes to an end for Mississippi State at the hands of Georgia. Sometimes you just have a team's number. You could certainly say Mississippi State had Ole Miss's number this year. Is that the case here? Does Georgia just have Mississippi State just have their number right now? Or is there something when you watch these games, other than the fact that Georgia is a really good team, that stands out to you?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think they're really good. I mean, they're probably, I was talking to some of the coaches from other teams and stuff, and I said, to me, we've seen UCLA, seen Texas, seen A&M. I think Georgia's the best team in the country. I really do. I think they're, offensively, there's just, from a pitching standpoint, you don't have a break. I mean, you go 1 through 9, and 8 and 9, you look down there at the bottom of the home, or the order, they have a combined 30-something home runs. I mean, it's just, there's not a break in that lineup, and it's just a very tough lineup to kind of navigate through from a pitching standpoint. Play really good defense. They pitch it good. Not great, but good enough. But, man, that lineup is something.
From a Mississippi State perspective, I wasn't sure about a couple of the decisions that O'Connor made as far as pitching goes. Now, that's why they pay him $3 million a year and not me. But I was surprised for Valinkas to get that first start on Wednesday. I was surprised that they didn't want to maybe move up McPherson and let him get some innings, and now they're going to have to let him do that in a practice setting. But I guess it worked out for the best for Mississippi State. Valinkas threw well and didn't have to burn a whole lot of pitches. Were you surprised that they didn't find a way to get McPherson some game action this week?
Well, if he wasn't coming off an injury, I think obviously that would have been the case. But I just don't think you can bump him up a day right now. I really don't. In a perfect world, he would have got a start. But from hearing them talk, I mean, they feel like they're perfectly fine, and confident in him being able to throw 60 pitches. So, I think he's built up to where he needs to be for this regional. But I think he probably would have been okay, but to me, he's too talented a kid to run the risk of bumping him up a day. And, as far as Tomas, I mean, you saw what happened to Ole Miss. I mean, they were on the bubble as a host, and Missouri goes out there and stomps them, and they have zero chances of hosting. So I think they felt like that first game, you never know for sure, but, you feel like that first game, if you win it, you get 40 wins. Now you've got a combined 18 wins against SEC teams this year. And, I mean, you're in a really good spot, I think. Not great, but I think it's a really good spot as far as a host. And if something were to happen, you went out there and you tried to throw off that first game and Missouri ends up upsetting you and beating you, I mean, you're a number 2 seed somewhere. There's zero chances you're hosted.
So I guess my question with McPherson is, based on what you know of the recovery timetable for him and how much State's been able to get out of him at this point, is there going to be a time the State would State have to get to Omaha to see Ryan McPherson pitch with no limitations this year?
Probably, to be honest with you, and even then, man, I just think with if you're talking about a fifth-year senior and it's his last go-round, it's totally different. But you're talking about a kid that is a first-round pick next year. And I just think you have to be careful with him. I mean, because not only for his career, but, you've got kids that's a junior in high school, looking to make commitments to places, and they're watching how you handle stuff like this. So, I mean, for the program's sake, I think you've got to be careful with him. And I just think you're going to see them. Pitch counts are such a tricky thing, and I don't get caught up in pitch counts. To me, a kid throwing 110 pitches in 7 innings is okay, and a lot of it depends on, if he gets to 95 by throwing 35 pitches in the 6th versus throwing 30 pitches in the 1st. I mean, it just depends a lot on when you have to go to the tank, so to speak. So the pitch count thing's a little tricky to work around. But I think he's going to be, when I say limited, I mean, I could see him getting up to 90, 100 pitches easily by the time, if we can make it to Omaha. But I just think you've got to handle him a little carefully this year.
One last question about the pitching. Coach Polk was famous about not wanting to tweak his rotation going into a regional, would pitch his ace in game 1 regardless of the opponent. If Jay Powell is running Mississippi State's rotation and that first game is against, a lower group of 6 champion team, a team like Lamar, who was the projected team and the D1 projections today. How are you handling that? Do you want to set up to get McPherson and Valinkas in Game 2 or Game 3? Who are you throwing in Game 1?
Well, that would be the perfect scenario. Obviously, is if you could throw off Game 1, but you know how it is. You can't get in that losers bracket either. I think it depends on who you're facing. Obviously, what kind of offense you're facing. Are they a pitching oriented team? Are they an offensive oriented team? But anybody that's going to show up in that regional, other than a few schools, are capable of beating you. It really is. So, I mean, unless you just end up with a really kind of a bad conference champion, I'm almost think you have to throw your guy Game 1. Now, that could change, and if you end up with someone that's not so good, and I think, some years we've had some teams up there that honestly wasn't very good. And if that's the case, then I think you think hard about throwing off because, obviously you need to win that first game, but your goal is to win the regional too. So it's like you said, that's why they pay those guys the money they do that's got 2 commas in it, and you and I just get to talk about it.
So you think about the history of the Southeastern Conference Tournament, all the great players, great power hitters that have played over there in Hoover and, of course, played elsewhere when that tournament was played elsewhere. And Vitas Valencius finds a way to be the first one ever to hit 2 home runs in an inning. And that stat caught me off guard when I saw it. State, I've just been impressed this year by State's ability to bring guys off the bench and get contributions out of them, be it Blake Beavis, Valencius, when Sean James' number has been called. And even when it looked like State was going to, switch to Drew Wires, he suffers a head injury, and they bring back Ryder Woodson. He's hitting the baseball pretty well. What does it say about this team that they have just found guys who can contribute all year long?
Well, from day one, that's been the strength of this team, has been the depth of their offensive lineup from day one. And I think they've done a great job of managing that. And we saw it, Blake Davis got hot. He was on roll for a couple of weeks. He cooled off. Reed Stallman goes back in there. We see it with Vitas. He gets hot. He goes in. So we've seen Aiden Teal in and out of the lineup. And I think that's just, one, they've done a good job of managing that, but 2, the kids have done a good job of buying into it. Don't seem to be any pouting, don't seem to be any complaining. When their number's called, they're ready, and that's the culture that he's created, and I think you got to give Brian some credit for that. Because this thing could have gone south a lot. You get a bunch of guys expecting to play, and they're not playing. He's created a culture that they've bought into.
You've seen this team play every game this year, and the way, their record against teams that are rated higher than them, it just is what it is at this point. If we talk about a team that advances out of the regional and they have to go travel to Athens or back to Austin or travel to Auburn, do you have confidence this team could find a way to win a super regional against those kind of teams?
Hey, if they have any question, they need to go talk to our girls softball team.
You're not wrong.
Look, you at that point, you go. Let's say you win it, you go to Georgia. You've lost them 4 times this year. So what do you got to lose? You have nothing to lose. Go lay it on the line. And Georgia, I'm going to tell you this: you're going to play good to beat Georgia. I don't care who you are, but you can do it, and they're talented enough to do it. It's not like, man, we just got no shot against them, but you just got to go do it. And there's so many times throughout these games where you look up and you say, man, we hit into 4 double plays. We got picked off. And you just, against teams like Georgia and Texas, you can't do that. You've got to find ways to take advantage of those opportunities, because against good teams, you don't have a lot of them.
And, of course, the other thing, I mentioned this the other day on the podcast, is they like to say it's tough to beat a team twice, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. It's got to be really darn tough to beat a team 6 times in one season. You got to think State's due at some point, right, Jay?
100%. And look, I'm going to be honest. I did not want to face Ole Miss that first round just for that reason.
Brother, that makes 2 of us.
Seriously, but they're a good team.
Yeah.
They got a good ball club, and, they're at some point, they're going to get you. You just can't keep beating them like you are. And it's not like Georgia or any of these teams have blown us out. These are extra innings. These are 1-run games. These are 2. Where a play here, a pitch there makes a difference. And, so far, and I use this analogy, we've kind of found a way to lose them instead of finding a way to win them. And that's what we got to do. And look, I'm not telling you anything that the coaches ain't telling those players, and they know this. I mean, you just got to go out and make a pitch, make a play.
Jay Powell, Mississippi State baseball, got another week of it, and looks like it'll be here in Starkville. We'll talk to you again soon, Jay. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Jay Powell joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Farm Bureau. That's the question right now for me for Mississippi State. When you talk about, you got to get through your regional. It's not going to be a cakewalk for anybody. But if you do that and you're staring at 3 games with Georgia, Texas, Auburn, I have no idea how State would do against Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Those are really good teams. But State hasn't played them, so I can't judge. But State's 2-7 against those top 3 SEC teams. And I mean, if you throw Texas A&M in there, you're 3-9. Really tough. So, all right, when we come back, we got 100 teams to talk about. We'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, about to start the 5 o'clock hour on a Friday.
Every time I look around, it's in my face.
Now back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
It doesn't get any better than this.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Guests have disrupted the timing, but we're not going to not get to 2 teams today on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days.
100 teams in 100 days.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! It's the final countdown.
Team number 99 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. We go out west. Not bad, Colorado State.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. They play in Canvas Stadium is where they play in Fort Collins, Colorado. Has an actual seating capacity of 36,500, but with standing room only, they can get up over 40. A pretty new stadium there in Fort Collins. The problem was the team wasn't any good last year. A 2-10 record. They went to Washington and lost. They beat Northern Colorado by 4. Then they lost to UTSA, lost to Washington State, lost to San Diego State. They beat Fresno State. And that was it. They lost to Hawaii, lost to Wyoming, lost to UNLV, lost to New Mexico State, lost to Boise State, and lost to Air Force to close out their season. And that cost Jay Norvell his job. They actually fired him after week 8 of the season last year. You remember Jay Norvell? He was the one that got into it with Coach Prime. He was the one that claimed that a bunch of schools are offering his quarterback that's not any good $600,000 to transfer. He was that guy. And he could not walk the walk that he was talking. He went 3-9, 5-7, 8-5 before starting 2-5 with the bye week and then getting fired after that. Do you know who replaced him? Who replaced
so here's the thing.
Jay Norvell at Colorado State?
It's Jim Mora, isn't it?
It's Jim Mora. Yeah. Yes, that Jim Mora, the guy that was a coach in the NFL for 4 seasons.
Not playoffs, Jim Mora, his son,
Mora
Jim Mora Jr.
Yeah, 3 seasons in Atlanta, 1 season in Seattle. Then he went to UCLA where he got off to a great start. 9 wins, 10 wins, 10 wins, and 8 wins. Then it went south. He went 4-8 and then 5-6 before he popped up again at UConn as a head coach. And you know what's interesting? He got fired by UCLA in 2017. Had a lot of years left on his contract, and he got paid in installments, just like if he were the coach there. And the thing about that is when the buyout ran out is when he got another job.
Yeah, it's smart.
He went to UConn and did really good things at UConn, especially when they didn't have a conference. They're an independent right now, which is unfortunate. But he went 6-7, 3-9, but back-to-back 9-win seasons at UConn, including a win in the Fenway Bowl. But he went to Colorado State after that.
Weird choice. Like, I figured, maybe he would get back into like a mid-major. Like, when I say mid-major, I guess I'm saying like a lower Power 4 school kind of situation. But this one called out to him for whatever reason. I do think Colorado State is a place where you can be successful. They've had some good teams in the past. But we'll see where that takes us. That's
they open with
interesting choice.
Open with Wyoming, then host Southern Utah. And BYU comes to Fort Collins as well before they go to the Alamo Dome to face UTSA. They host Oregon State before their bye week. Then they go to Texas State, who, by the way, Texas State not in the Sun Belt anymore. That's a conference game.
That's right.
Host San Diego State, go to Utah State, host Boise State, go to Washington State and Fresno State before they end the season hosting Texas State. You might be thinking, wait a minute, Michael, didn't you say that? Yes, they're playing Texas State twice this season.
I hate that.
Home and home.
It's got to be a better way. But
that's just how they have to do it, scheduling-wise, with the new Pac-12, whatever. But yeah, Jim Mora Jr., the head coach at Colorado State.
You're not going to believe this. The highest-rated restaurant in the city of Fort Collins, Colorado, is a Cajun Creole restaurant.
No way.
Yeah, it's called Lucille's Creole Cafe in Fort Collins. Looking at their menu, guys, I am always wary of Southern food outside of the South. This menu is not helping me in any way, shape, or form. Gumbo, described as Grand New Orleans stew, homemade from ingredients selected daily. Guys, the ingredients in gumbo kind of just stay the same.
There's very few alterations.
Like, you can change the meats, I guess. You go from seafood to chicken and sausage. But
sometimes okra, sometimes not,
Am I getting super fresh seafood in Fort Collins, Colorado? That worries me a little bit. They've got red beans and rice. This po' boy sounds good, though. A French bread sandwich. Yeah, that's what a po' boy is, all right. With fried eggplant, sausage, and ham in a Creole sauce with melted cheese. I don't know. This one sounds a little iffy. They do have an andouille sausage burrito for breakfast, though, if you want.
Because when I think Cajun, I think burrito.
Burrito.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, their breakfast menus, a lot of Benedicts, a lot of different egg dishes. They do have Pan Purdue. They have a Cajun breakfast that has red beans, and I don't remember the Cajuns eating red beans. The only people who eat beans for breakfast are the British, I think.
The whole point of red beans is it's later in the day because it's the cleaning day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this place, guys, but that's your number one rated restaurant in Fort Collins. We'll be back with another one right after this.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi.
You like this show, huh?
Yeah! Super Talk Mississippi.
This is the last hour of the week already. Wow. Sports Talk Mississippi. Borky and Haydad with you. Welcome in. Wherever you are, across the state of Mississippi or beyond, because there's a lot of beyond thanks to the SuperTalk app or supertalk.fm. We appreciate you being here.
Got to be careful in that frickin' beyond section.
We knocked one team out on the countdown of 100 teams, 100 days. We got to make up for Saturday, so we will do that.
Do it now in the college football fix. The college football fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. Built Ford Tough. That's the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. It's been that way for, just around 50 years, in case you were wondering. Looking for a new truck? There's only one place to go. Visit your local Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Team number 98 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. We go one state over to the great state of Alabama. The Gamecocks of Jacksonville State, one of two Gamecocks in college football. I was talking to my dad yesterday. It kind of cracked me up. We were talking about South Carolina. He's like, Michael, I don't like saying their name. He's like, He was telling me that somebody's a Gamecock fan. He's like, I'm not going to say that anymore. They're a South Carolina fan.
So what you're saying is, the South Carolina.
Yeah, they're a South Carolina
fan. Mississippi State does maroon, white. South Carolina does game.
Yep, they certainly do.
So your dad would want to sit on that side of the stadium is what I'm getting.
It doesn't sound like it, I suppose. But Jacksonville State, really good, just a good program. I mean, Ole Miss fans got a front row seat. Did I ever tell you, Hayden, that was my first Ole Miss game ever in my life?
And you still ended up going to school there. That's really funny.
That was it. They play in Amherst Stadium. They've put a lot of money into the 22,000-seat stadium. They actually reduced capacity by about 1,500 thanks to the latest renovation. But it is a really nice venue. Looks like a cool place to go watch a football game. Friend of the program, Ryan Brown, is a alum of Jacksonville State. I believe he played golf there, actually.
Yeah.
But
he'll play golf anywhere.
Yeah. Yes, he will. Rich Rodriguez was the coach there. He left before last season for West Virginia, and in stepped Charles Kelly, a journeyman, if you will. Started his coaching career in 1990, 2 years before I was born. That was at Central High School in Alabama. He played DB at Auburn, for what it's worth. Here's his coaching career. GA at Auburn, running backs coach at Jacksonville State, DB coach at Jacksonville State, offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State, defensive coordinator at Jacksonville State, defensive coordinator at Henderson State, defensive coordinator at Eufaula High School, DB coach at Nichols, DC at Nichols, special teams coordinator at Georgia Tech, cornerbacks coach at Georgia Tech, DB coach at Georgia Tech, interim defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, special teams coach at Florida State, defensive coordinator at Florida State. That's where some of you might remember him the most from his 3 years there. Special teams coordinator at Tennessee, assistant defensive coordinator at Alabama for 3 years, defensive coordinator at Colorado, co-defensive coordinator at Auburn in 24, and then the head coach at Jacksonville State. What a long and winding road to your first head coaching job. Went 9-5 in year one with a win in the Salute to Veterans Bowl. They lost to UCF, beat Liberty, lost at Georgia Southern, beat Murray State, lost at Southern Miss. You Golden Eagles remember that. Mm-hmm. Then they started winning a lot. Beat Sam Houston, beat Delaware, beat Middle Tennessee, beat UTEP, beat Kennesaw State. Lost at Florida International. Weird loss, all things considered. Mm-hmm. But won their half of the Conference USA with a win over Western Kentucky. And then Kennesaw State got revenge in the CUSA championship game before that win over Troy in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. This year, in 2026, Jacksonville State opens the season at North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome to start the season.
Is this the first year for North Dakota State in the
that is
FBS?
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Then they host Eastern Kentucky before they go to Ohio, so 2 of their 3 non-conference games are on the road. Mm-hmm. Host Georgia Southern and Middle Tennessee before an off week, and they go to Kennesaw State. They host FIU before another off week. They go to New Mexico State, host Sam Houston, go to Western Kentucky before they end the season hosting Missouri State and going to Delaware. That is a Conference USA schedule for you right there. That is Jacksonville State in 26.
This is what's interesting about these rankings. We're still in the S&P Plus, right?
That's what it will be the whole time, yeah.
Okay. So you just had at number 99 a 2-10 football team. A terrible, terrible football team last year. And here at 98, we have a team that won 9 games, played in their conference championship game, and beat a team from a better conference. The Sun Belt is a better conference than Conference USA in a bowl game. I would think that if these two teams played each other, Jacksonville State would be a sizable favorite.
You would think.
Maybe a 10-point favorite, and yet here they are only one spot apart in the ranking.
Yeah, the S&P Plus is weird.
Well, it's math, guys. Math is weird when you really get right down to it. So
it's a great model, and it's very interesting for sure. But football ain't played on a calculator. It
is not.
There's a little bit more to it.
Played inside my television.
Apparently so. All right, so Jacksonville, Alabama.
You're going to love the name. We're going to Cooter Brown's Rib Shack.
How about that? I mean, is it a direct, obviously very similar to the famous place in New Orleans, but is there a relationship between the two?
I don't think there's any relationship to these two places. So I'm going to take this time right now, though, to address one of my pet peeves about restaurants and their websites. If you own a restaurant and you have first off, you should have a website. If I click on website on TripAdvisor, which I want to point out yet again because somebody asked on the C Spire text line, I am just taking the number one best reviewed restaurant, not the featured, the best reviewed restaurant from TripAdvisor.com. There's no personal thoughts in this. You should have a website. I should not click on website and it goes to a Facebook page, right?
Absolutely correct.
And then if I go to your website and click on menu, it should not take me to where I am trying to online order. I just want to look at your menu, all right? I want to look at it. Most of the times when I'm doing this, I'm preparing for a trip. I'm not trying to order food for a city that I don't live in right now. So please, restaurant owners, fix that. For example, because they have some stuff here like on their menu. One of their burgers is called, I don't know if we may get in trouble. It's called the Angry Cooter. But I have no idea what's on that burger. They have another sandwich called the Angry Gamecock. I have no idea what's on that sandwich. It just says
the Angry and the Angry. Oh.
Yeah. It kind of is what it is there. But they're best known for their award-winning ribs. You can get the full slab or the half slab there. Those ribs do look pretty good. They also can do the wings. They have hillbilly egg rolls, which are filled with pulled pork and coleslaw. Sounds pretty good to me. Homemade pork rinds. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And they also have some other comfort food. You can get hamburger steak, chicken fingers, all that good stuff. Deep fried corn on the cob. I'm a fan. This looks like a pretty good place to eat. So, yeah, the number one. Now, hold on. Let me make sure. It's a Pepsi restaurant. That's a strike against them. But so on. So that's the way it is sometimes. Yes. Cooter Brown's Rib Shack, Highway 204 in Jacksonville, Alabama. That's the number one rated restaurant for students of Jacksonville State.
You've got to go to that place in New Orleans, hey, Dad. You've got to.
I've been.
You've been? I thought you said you haven't when I said I went.
No, I've been to Cooter Brown's. Maybe a long time ago, but I've been.
I swear that was you. Obviously it wasn't, but...
I mean, look, I will say this. New Orleans is a town where time has gotten away from me from time to time. It's possible that I don't remember going or that I went or I didn't go, but I think I did. But I'm pretty sure I've been there.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Low ceilings. I mean, it's a dumpy old building. You would not think that when you walk in there, it's the...
That's what I want. I want dump. I want dive. I want, I want to be impressed. So now, see, once again, though, we've done it again. I'm hungry.
Good.
I got to go home and eat dinner.
That's the point of the exercise, isn't it?
Yeah. So we got two teams today. We'll do two teams on Monday. We'll catch up Sunday and Monday.
Monday's going to be a busy day.
Monday is very busy. As you know, it's Memorial Day, but as we mentioned earlier, we are not taking the day off. We will be live starting at 3:06. We will recap the entire NCAA tournament field, the Hattiesburg Regional, likely the Starkville Regional. We'll tell you where Ole Miss is headed. We'll tell you where everything else is going on. We'll have our three coaches on with us as we always do. And we're going to be a big weekend.
I'll have to confirm, just to be sure, because it is Memorial Day, I don't want to guarantee.
They got to be working.
I don't want to guarantee it unless.
We'll see.
But
they'll be on.
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Monday. Today's Friday. So when we come back, Borky, what are we going to talk about?
I got more stuff for you.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you do, because it'd be awkward to have 40 minutes of silence.
We could talk about Siwoo Kim. Needs a par for 59 today.
Really nice.
A birdie for
59 is really nice. I like what Tom Fornelli said. They spent $22 million to tear up that golf course, and Siwoo Kim's doing it for free right now. He's destroying that course.
We'll be back in just a bit.
In the Venable Glass. What we're going to do right here is go back.
And now back to the sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
So let's get rolling
on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Borky and Hey, that's Sports Talk Mississippi. We did get this on the text line. Is there anything the latest on the death of Kyle Busch. Have there been any developments today? So, as you guys know, Kyle Busch unexpectedly passed away at the age of 41. I mean, he was still at the top of his sport. Leaves behind a couple of young children, I believe, and a wife as well. And it's a devastating story. I'm going to get kind of preachy here when it comes to journalism. I'm not a journalist, but I did go to journalism school, just like I'm not a doctor, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But I still pay attention to it and value kind of the tenets of what the industry at least pretends to be. TMZ published the details of the 911 call today. Ooh. And I guess technically those are open records. Like you can go get 911 calls if you'd like to from your local police station. If it's not a threat to public safety, we don't need to know what was said on the 911 call. It's pretty gruesome. And my question when I saw that was, who needed to know this? Why is this information that the public needed to know? And why should we not wait until the family decides or doesn't decide to give anybody details about why he passed? Again, it'd be different if it was like he got an outbreak of a deadly virus that is spreading, if it was something like that. Or if there was a criminal act involved, if he was murdered or something like that. That's different. If it's a health thing that really only impacts him, we don't need, in my opinion anyway, the intimate details of what was said on the 911 call. And I think it's grotesque. And I know what TMZ is. I mean, they pay for scoops, and they were the ones that, didn't they have the pictures of the helicopter in the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash? Aren't they the ones that published those? I know they broke the news, but didn't they publish the images also?
I believe they may have, yeah.
To me, that crosses a line. And so if that's the only update we have, I think it would be out of principle for me to tell you what they reported. I guess if you want to seek it out, you can, but that's gross to me. We don't need to know that at all. And I think since everything is at the tip of our fingers, sometimes we think that we are owed answers that we're not owed. I saw some of that comments. Why won't they tell us anything? Because you do not have the right. Like, where do we think that we have the right to know intimate, tragic details of this man that we've never met's life and his death? You know what I mean? I think we've gone too far with that, and TMZ went way too far with that today, in my opinion.
I tend to agree with you, man. That's just, but at the same time, I'm just numb to it at this point.
Isn't that sad that we are? Because it is numbing. Yeah,
it is what it is, though. It's just like I just, in almost every situation that exists on this planet now, I expect the worst possible outcome.
Yeah. What a shame. But yeah, the latest is that they're still figuring things out, and the family, I think, will speak on it when they feel as though it's necessary.
They want to, yeah.
World Cup coming up here in just a few weeks. We'll get the United States roster, I believe, on Tuesday. Now, they have to do 2 cuts, very similar to the NFL, how they have 90 players and they have to cut to a certain number, then they cut to 53. Or no, they do one cut now, don't they? They got rid of that. They go from 90 to 53 now. But they used to have multiple cuts. We actually have one cut that's due today. So it's, 55 and then to 27, I think? But we'll find out on Tuesday. Anyway, we found out today that Jerry World, where the Dallas Cowboys play, you guys have seen the images when they play the afternoon games. They have the windows that faced directly west, and the sun beams into the stadium, and it affects play because the sun is directly in the eyes of whatever team is going west because they oriented the stadium incorrectly. Mm-hmm. They have curtains. They've used them for concerts and other things. FIFA is making what they're calling Dallas Stadium this week. You can't call it AT&T Stadium.
Right.
They're using the curtains. So only the Cowboys have to deal with the sun in their indoor stadium. Literally every other event that they hold there, they put the curtains up for. But Jerry Jones, for some reason, refuses. I swear it's because he refuses to admit a mistake. And by God, when they have a 3:30 kickoff time game, whoever's driving the football going west is going to have to stare directly into a beam from the sun for an hour. Only the Cowboys, nobody else.
I don't mind that. So I was thinking more about we talked about yesterday the English. Yeah, they released their roster and how many some guys like top players, and I was just like, these are guys who aren't going to make the English team. They would be the best player on the American team. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, they'd be the best player on the American team. Those guys are better than Christian Pulisic. And yet, they're going to sit it out. It's really weird. Like, from what I've read, like, the English people are like, they're really upset that some of the decisions that were made. They think Thomas Tuchel, who is the head coach for England, and he's also German by descent, they think he's a sleeper cell. They're like, this guy's been sent here by Germany to ruin us. Did you go somewhere? You all right there?
No, I'm reading this. Somebody says, I disagree. Make the information public. It's the price of being a celebrity. My suspended license arrest is public knowledge and shouldn't be. That violates me. Or name any other nonviolent charge that they make public. Why is that public knowledge? Can't ride the fence on this. Well, I think arrests and deaths are different.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Again, unless the death involves something that is a direct relation to public safety, whether it be a crime or a disease or something like that, I don't think just because you're a celebrity that you should be subjected to a violation of privacy when it comes to something as intimate like that. But, I mean, a suspended license arrest is... You can argue the merits of this or not, but people driving around without a valid driver's license is a threat to public safety. You can roll your eyes at that. I kind of do too, right? I had to go renew my license the other day. So it took 5 minutes, but that's why the line is there. I don't think just because you're a celebrity, we need to know the intimate details of your passing. I don't think that's what you sign up for. You shouldn't sign up for that. Everybody is owed some level of privacy if they're not committing crimes. At least I think so.
I think I agree with you, yes. Like, again, you said it first. Arrest and deaths are different.
I did not give TMZ a click, actually. I did not. I didn't give in. I saw other people commentating on that. 601-879-4395. Are you excited about the World Cup? I can't wait. I mean, I cannot wait. I love this event.
I've told you this many times that like international soccer, I'm not as excited about it as I am my club team. But yes, I am excited. Because it's here's when you boil it down to like it's minimum, right? It's live sports on television. And so at a time when we don't have a lot of live sports on television, you're getting there in that area between the end of the College World Series and the start of college football. There's not a lot going on usually. This gives me some stuff to watch, some stuff to be interested in. So, and I know a lot of the names, so I can watch different games, and there's at least one guy on almost every team that I recognize, and can go from there.
I'm nervous though already.
You need to approach this the way I don't know, Vanderbilt playing Georgia, like just whatever happens. But
not in the group stage.
Not in the group stage.
We're Georgia in the group stage.
We'll be fine in the group stage. I'm not worried about that.
We're Georgia in the group stage playing Diego Pavia's Vanderbilt.
Right.
A team that can beat you if you don't play well.
But we aren't, though. The Turkish team is pretty good, but for the most part, we are the best team in that. We'll be in the top two. We'll progress.
We have the best players in that group.
But then
in every match.
when we get to the knockout stage, chances are we probably won't win.
Who would be the best draw in the knockout stage? Who would you want to see? Like that you could conceivably see. Like
I'd have to think about that, but if Iran got through, I don't know.
That's not happening.
Well, I mean, I don't know what their group is. They could be in the top two. I don't know who's in their group. I mean, I don't want to see a European don't want to see Brazil, Argentina.
I want to beat England. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Difficult to do.
We'll be back.
From the Seabrook.com.
Communication system is a go.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Exactly.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Bill Connolly at ESPN ranked the 10 most games that are must-watch, not most-watch, must-watch games in 2026. And it's a good list, but I'll start with 10. He's getting too cute. Bill, you're getting too cute.
Well, if we say the one thing we know about Bill Connolly is that he appreciates the underdog. He appreciates all levels of college football. So
he does.
I haven't seen this list, so I'm interested to hear
it. But the 10 must-watch games of college football in 26. Number 10, North Dakota State at UNLV, October 10th.
Well, I think it's a great game. I think that's going to be a fun game. We're going to have a great time, great crowd, great opponent. We're going to have to give great strain if we want to win that game. Maximum effort.
Number 9, also getting too cute. Houston at Texas Tech, September 18th.
I mean, unless you think that's the game that's going to decide the Big 12, which maybe it does. I don't know.
Maybe it does.
I don't know.
Number 9, Texas at Texas A&M, November 27th. Now you're cooking.
Yeah, that'll be a good
game. Some particular Texas A&M coach better win that game, or else they're going to be sawing not just varsity's horns off, but they're going to be sawing your contract in half, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can't lose to Texas again. Or maybe you can. Number 7, Oklahoma at Michigan, September 12th.
Fun game. That was a surprising result last year. I was not a buyer in Oklahoma preseason, as you know. So we'll see what happens when they have to make the return trip. Kind of funny that Sharon Moore was the head coach of Michigan last year, and they had a home and home with Oklahoma, which is his alma mater, and he's not there anymore. And he only got to coach that game because
he was suspended for the other ones.
Michigan selectively picked the games he was going to be suspended for.
Have you seen Jim Harbaugh's coaching tree of guys that are involved in scandals? It's super impressive how many coaches under him have been fired because of scandals.
It's kind of like John Wooden's tree of championships.
Yeah.
It's just different. So.
Harbaugh's got a pretty long tree of guys that have gotten themselves into some trouble.
He knows how to get them there, yeah.
Number 6, Oregon at Ohio State, November 7th. That, I think, is for the Big Ten Championship.
Probably so. Very, very much. Very, very exciting game, no doubt.
Although they could just play each other again in the Big Ten Championship, but alas. Number 5, Georgia at Alabama, October 10th.
Yeah. Can Georgia finally break the Alabama jinx? Alabama's had their number. Big time.
And that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
they do, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And it's 2 different coaches now. It's Saban and DeBoer.
DeBoer. Number 4, Miami at Notre Dame, November 7th.
I mean, there's just no question that's a huge game. I mean, it literally decided who was in the playoff last year.
As it should have. If we go to 24, that game won't decide anything. Number 3, Ohio State at Indiana, October 17th.
Indiana, year 1 played those teams and wasn't up to the challenge. Year 2, they didn't play any teams like that in the regular season. This will be fun to finally get a big-time regular season game in Indiana where the Hoosiers might be the favorite.
That might be the most interesting team in college football this year is Indiana. Because did you have 2 really awesome years? Or are you now a program that is at this level every year?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they're allowed to have a step back, but if they go 9-3, you're like, okay, Indiana's still they're still solid.
Ole Miss beating Georgia 2 years ago was that game for them, where it turned from, okay, they've had some good years under Kiffin, but are they really a year-in, year-out program? And then they win that game, you're like, yeah, they are. They're going to be in that discussion.
And then they went to Gainesville and still refused to play Ulysses Bentley. And
you got to let that go.
Hey, Dad, I don't know if you understand.
You got to move on.
Watching.
I watched the whole game. Yeah.
But watching a coach that is so good do things that are so stupid at the same time.
I'm just saying that.
It's hard to balance those things.
By the way, I would like to point everything out. I just want to point out something right here. I just gave Ole Miss a compliment. I was just like, hey, Ole Miss.
Because you can't deny it.
Well, that's my point. They won this game, and now they're one of the top programs. And Borky immediately poo-pooed it.
Well, because of what happened next.
Who actually, I'm not saying I support Ole Miss.
You're the Ole Miss homer here.
Because God knows I don't. But I'm trying to help y'all out here. I'm trying to boost you up, and look at this guy.
There's nothing that's boost-worthy in 2024. Like, in the season as a whole. Of course, that one game against Georgia was spectacular. But
anyway, moving on with our countdown here.
That's like watching Bob Ross paint a beautiful masterpiece with happy little trees, and then taking a bucket of blue paint and just tossing it at it. That's Lane Kiffin. He can paint a masterpiece, and then he'll take a bucket and just throw it at it. That's him. That's a perfect explanation for him. Number 2, Ohio State at Texas, September 12th.
Absolutely true. 100% true. Looking forward to that one already.
Sark better win that one with all the chirping that he's been doing this offseason. He's been chirping Big Ten schedules. Well, you better beat the Big Ten team on yours.
Yeah.
If you want to start talking about schedules. And then number 1, I'll give you 5 guesses to get to number 1. It's not Tennessee Furman, so throw that one out.
Mississippi State, Minnesota.
Slippy likes to. No, Billy likes to drink soda. Anyway, it's Ole Miss LSU.
That's one of those things where you're like, all right, I know what number 1 is. And I'll figure out the rest of the list as I go. Pretty easy.
Yeah, they're going to end up going. You know what someone told me recently? That game day is concerned that the reception's not going to be good and that they won't. They won't be able to put on
that, are they?
That they're going to get booed and chanted against and stuff like that, and that kind of reception doesn't follow them places almost ever. And there's kind of like a. Should we actually go there when Nick Saban is going to be chanted in the background when Nick Saban's trying to talk about Lane Kiffin? And I kind of understand where they're coming from. You can't put on a show if you're constantly hitting the dump button, especially when it's directed at you.
I gave them the solution to this. Do it inside.
Yeah, the stadium or something.
Just put it do it in the stadium. That would be the way to do it.
And that way you can have Kiffin sit on set with you because you cannot have him come sit on set with you if you're going to do that in the Grove. You can't do it.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if they tried that?
It would.
Could you imagine?
It would absolutely end poorly. I'm not saying somebody would shoot him or something, but those things would be thrown.
100%.
He would get
if
hit
he was
with a
walking
bottle.
through the Grove.
Yeah. They need to do like a wrestling thing where they have the guy in the black hoodie come in who's like, "Who's that?" And he takes off the mask. By God, that's Lane Kiffin.
Some producer is going to bring that up in a meeting, though. Can we get Lane on set?
Yeah.
So it's going to happen.
I hope Saban just goes, "Who's that idiot? Fire him. You're fired."
Slaps him on
son.
the forehead. But maybe the people that will stay up all night to get on the front row of College Game Day won't be like that. But I have not spoken to or interacted with a single Ole Miss fan. And I mean, we're lucky enough we get to talk to thousands of them every day. And then the podcast I do, there's thousands there, and it's only Ole Miss fans. Not a single one wants game day there. And not only is it not indifference where it's I don't care either way, it's I actively do not want them on my campus that day.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ever think of a time where game day had that kind of feeling going into a game? There's been some lean years when they'd go to Tuscaloosa for the billionth time and they'd have a smaller crowd.
Yeah.
But not a crowd that is actively like middle fingers in the air.
Crowd.
I don't want you here. Like
Yeah.
your existence here
it's
angers
never happened.
me.
It's never happened. Like the closest thing, and it didn't happen this way, but I remember a few years back when they were at Iowa State for El You Know Whatico.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to call it on this show, El You Know Whatico. And the guy who did the pick was Ashton Kutcher, who went to Iowa, and I think they got some resistance on that. Honestly,
and then the chance of take a shower.
Yeah, which is funny. The best example of this involves our friend Brandon Walker. His trips to Iowa when they played it's the same game, I think, or when they had El You Know Whatico there, and he has his history with Iowa, and then 2 years ago when he came to the Grove, and it was really, really bad. But this is a million times more than that.
The Iowa fan reaction to what your buddy Brandon Walker said is still one of the most bizarre reactions that I've seen a college fan base have to anything.
React.
Just like they're sensitive, and then there's whatever that was. But yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. I do believe the person that told me that, though, and that there's been some communication of, are we sure we should go there? Because the dump button is going to be used heavily. That's because then, hey, Dad, you have to displace people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to move people to have that. So people are already mad that you're there to begin with, and I don't know. Anyway, 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. We'll be back.
Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Do you ever get so excited that you just can't wait?
Yes. Sports Talk Mississippi, covering your Mississippi teams.
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Don't touch that dial. Here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. One more time with you. We will be here on Monday, so if you guys are cooking out, doing whatever you're doing, and you want to hear some live sports talk, you can. We'll go over the field, the regionals, et cetera, et cetera. What are you going to do this weekend, though? Nothing?
It's a normal weekend. I had a friend tell me the holiday weekend, this, that, and other. I was like, I don't have a holiday weekend. I'm working today. I'm working on Monday. Like this is not a holiday for me. So, yeah, I don't have any big plans. I will say though that the grocery store I frequent, we won't shut them out, but they had beef dino ribs in the case today. I was like, oh, well, I wasn't planning to spend $50 extra than what I came in here for, but I'm gonna now. Got a 5-pound slab. I'm not going to do that this weekend, though, but I will be doing that very soon. I was just like, I got to buy these. I don't know how often they're going to be out. I had literally never seen them for sale before at the grocery store. I was like, I got to buy them. So if you had gone there about 11 o'clock, you would have seen me rifling through the case. Like, I'm getting the biggest slab they got. I did.
Oh, man, that sounds
so I'll
so
cook
good.
those soon enough.
You really can't go wrong with those either.
No, they're going to be good. I'm excited to cook them. So,
they're
Marty,
basically the perfect food.
Yeah, they're real good. The one we had at Austin was real good, or Dallas, I should say. When we went to Terry Black's. Marty's got the question we're all kind of asking: who will be the guest picker? You and I agree. We think that's just going to be an Eli Manning.
You're going to have to do a safe pick on that.
That's just Eli. Just bring him in. He got the ESPN connection anyway.
Yeah,
he'll be at the game. Just bring him in. Let him do it.
Something like that.
Can't go controversial here. Certainly can't bring anybody with any LSU ties on. Yeah, that just makes sense.
Somebody like him.
Somebody who will pick Ole Miss.
That too.
Because you get somebody up there who picks LSU, and you're going to have...
You know Kirk is going to, and he'll cry again.
Yeah. It's the worst thing that's ever happened in this history of the sport. So.
You know, Kirk Herbstreit said that during a post-game fight. It was a fight.
Yeah.
Which has happened before.
Like Joe Paterno didn't exist.
Hey, Kirk, where's that energy? I read an article this week about your beloved Ohio State, your alma mater. 30 former players involved in a abuse filing?
Yeah.
Another one? Yeah. But hey, a post-game fight, that's the worst thing you've ever seen on a football.
Who was the woman? Christine Brennan, was that her name?
Yep.
Who wrote the article about this, the darkest day in the history of college football? We're like...
When they decided to play during COVID?
It wasn't Jerry Sandusky, really? That wasn't the darkest day? I thought that was.
I feel like that was worse.
I felt like the Norm Macdonald situation. You thought the hypocrisy was the worst thing. I thought it was something else.
Somebody says let Archie do it. He would decline.
I think Archie would decline. I think Eli will do it. Like, Eli would do it. Archie would probably say no.
That'd be great. Don't get me wrong. It's just he wouldn't.
Yeah,
he doesn't seek that in his
Eli
his life.
Brings a little more juice. And
he's funny, and he'll rip Nick Saban.
Again, we have to think in terms of a national audience here. Eli, as you and I both know from when he sat down with us at the Hall of Fame and proceeded to just rip on Richard Cross for about 5 minutes. I was like, why is this guy not on the show more often? He's hilarious. But he's got that quick wit. Archie, Ole Miss fans love Archie. I understand that. But like a national audience knows Eli more than Archie. So
for sure.
It will be. I would be shocked if it's not Eli.
I would too. I mean, maybe some country singer. I don't know.
Again, you do that. You're taking a risk that guy's going to get up there and say, "I think Tigers are going to win," and then you got a riot on your hands.
I want Shane Gillis up there because he's the only one that's willing to sit next to Nick Saban and tell the truth.
Call him out. Yeah.
I want Shane Gillis round 2 up there.
Yeah.
Of all the times I've seen Nick Saban mad, I don't think I've ever seen him madder than when Shane Gillis
called him Alabama Jones.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Kirk Herbstreit would love the dog. Yeah, he would. Well, his will be there, I'm sure.
Yeah, they can be friends.
I do love dogs, especially golden retrievers. They're the best dogs in the world.
Yeah.
Why do you get to bring your dog everywhere? That image of Kirk's dog flying private.
Yeah.
And Lee Corso sitting at the Orlando airport flying commercial.
That was a bit much. You should start bringing your dog to work.
She's too excitable. She just want to go see everybody, and she'd bother everybody.
Who gets bothered by a dog?
People that are trying to work, I guess.
I've been to that office. Ain't nobody trying to work in there. Except for Houston. He's the only one.
Houston is the only one. Oh, man. Enjoy your sports this weekend. You got golf. You got playoffs.
Last day of the Premier League season is Sunday.
Last day of the Premier League season.
Tottenham's going down. Everybody get on board.
And the SEC tournament. We'll be back on Monday. We will be live on Monday at 3 talking about the regionals. We will get the bracket on Monday. We'll talk about it on Monday afternoon. We'll see you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.